What's up, gamers? Welcome back to another grounded playground class video. Today I'm going to be talking to you about setting up respawners. So there's a couple different scenarios that I could think of off the top of my head that this would come in handy. Number one, say you have built a progression dungeon and you want to know how to, say, you spawn at the start, right? You walk, or you fight your way through the dungeon, you get to a specific spot rather than setting your spawn at a bed, which we would normally do. It would be much easier for the player and for the creator to deactivate the original spawn and activate a new spawn location so you can progress through a dungeon or progress through a parkour course, anything along those lines. I'm going to show you. I've got 3 examples here. This one looks like a nightmare, but this is more of a different kind of deal. But so this one originally here, it's actually super simple. You can do this with in a couple different ways, really. But what's happening here is this spawner is active, and none of the other ones are. You can tell by the check mark above the head here, and it's selected specifically for Willow. You could do this for all players or whatnot, however you want to do it. But what happens is our original spawn spawns us on top of this pressure plate. The pressure plate's set to low so that, one player can activate it. Now, what this does is it deactivates this pressure plate, deactivates this one, and activates the next one. That's exactly what we've got going on here. Activates. Nothing should happen. We should put this to select none on all these, right? So everything on the secondary action, we don't want anything to happen on that secondary action, just in case something weird goes on here. So go through all of your connections and change them all to none, just like that, for the secondary, because we only want something to happen. I already did it for these ones. We only want something to happen when it's activated. So what's going to happen here is you step on this pressure plate, deactivates this one, and activates this one. You step on this pressure plate, deactivates this one, activates this one. Kind of in a sequence here. So I'll show you how it works. We'll go into play mode, and I'll do give up real quick, and it should spawn me on the first one. Okay, respawn. Oh, hold on. Let me deactivate this one here. Because I forgot to. No, I don't. I just want the respawner. Can you just give me the respawner thing? Come on, give it to me. Oh, there it was for a second. There we go. All right, let's deactivate you for a second till we get to that one. All right, let's try this one more time. All right, so give up. Okay, respawn. Okay, perfect. Spawns us on here. And now we can go run around, do whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that was our number 1. So now we give up. And it should spawn us on the number 2. Okay. Oh, it spawned us back on the number 1. Curious why that happened. So this should deactivate this, right? Oh. That's our issue. We got to put it on deactivate on these up arrows. Duh. Okay. Let's get this sorted. This is the kind of problem solving you're going to have to deal with here. All right. So let's run it back one more time here. Give up. We should spawn on number 1. Okay. All right. We spawned on number 1. Let's go ahead and get off of it. And then give up again. Okay. We should spawn on number 2 this time. Hey, there we go. Number 2. Step off of it. And give up. And we should spawn on number 3 now. Okay. There we go. On number 3. So that's the issue that I had there. Yeah, you have to make sure that the first, like the arrow that's going from the pad up to the respawn point is set to deactivate, and nothing on the second behavior there. That second behavior, what that does is whenever you step off of the pressure pad, it would do something, right? So we don't want that to happen. But we could essentially tie that to like, like a light or something to show us which spawn point's active if we want to. But I show you kind of that over here if that's the case that you want. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to click G on this, and I am going to deactivate this spawner for now. So that's how that one works. And, like I said, that one could be used in a dungeon or in a parkour or a maze or something like that, where you want to eliminate the initial spawn and start up, a secondary one. Now, this over here looks like a complete disaster, but what we have here is a timer loop that lasts for 3 seconds at a time, and it bounces in between. And the biggest reason why it looks like there's a lot more than there should be here, and I'll delete these lights afterwards, is I kind of put these lights up for indicators to kind of show you which spawner is active and how this exactly works. I'm going to hit start on play on this one. And the way that this spawner works here is this is almost kind of a randomizer. We don't really have any way to make a randomizer. Now, what's happening here is every time the light is lit, that means that is the current spawn point. So we have a time interval in between, so the spawn point's constantly flipping. That one turns off, this one turns on, this one turns off, that one turns on. That's pretty much the way this spawn rotation thing is working. So if I was to, give up right now, I would randomly spawn at whichever one is currently lit up. So here I am. I spawned on that one, and now it's going back to rotating again. So if you took this same timer and you put it in a deathmatch arena or something like that, so when you die, you respawn in a random location, then that would be probably one of the better uses for this. So now we can go through, and I'll just delete these lights because these lights are just tied in just to kind of show you a visual of what's going on here. But more or less what's happening is we have one of these timers that are on a start on play. Okay. Start on play is pretty much the only important part of this. We just need it on one. So from here to the next one, our connection is start timer. Okay. We go to the next one. It's actually currently deactivated. And it will, this is more or less like a time loop, right? As long as you've got all these on start on play, you'll see that rotation. And here we'll actually crank these timers down to 1 second so you can kind of see it working a little bit faster here. So we'll set these to 1 second. And what's happening is each time one of these timers gets hit, it's activating the current spawn point and deactivating all the others. So you can see now that the timer's started, and it gets back here, and it just keeps going on a loop. Okay. So you could do this, you could do this with as many timers as you would want to, but what's happening here is this timer has got this connection and it's activating this spawn point. Okay. But this timer is also linked to all the other spawn points, deactivating all of them. So each time a timer hits, it activates the current one and deactivates all the other spawns. So you'll have to, when you do your connections that are going, into a different spawn point, they're all going to have to say deactive, except for obviously the one that's connected to the timer. So we can see here, all these three are deactive and the top one is active. So that's pretty much how you create what I'm coming up with as almost a randomizer for spawn locations in like a deathmatch scenario or any other thing you could possibly think of. And it kind of makes like a cool little design too, almost like a pentagon bottom of a Eiffel Tower looking thing or something. All right, so last example here. So this would be for like a progression dungeon, almost kind of similar to this one, but instead we're using a player volume instead, and we're also utilizing receivers, so I can kind of teach you guys how these work a little bit. So more or less what's happening, pretend that this receiver and this transmitter are hundreds of miles apart from each other, okay? The distance does not matter with these as long as they're on the same channel. Channel 1, okay? You can have up to 100 channels on these receivers, but channel 1, all right? This light here is to indicate that this is the current spawn point. This is active, and if I activate this here, you will see that it's active, right? Okay, so this guy's currently active. This is our current spawn point, the beginning of the dungeon. La la la. We go through the dungeon. Here we go. Here, let's go ahead and do this. So we're wandering through the dungeon, and we go into the dungeon door. Now we want our player to not go back. There's no going back at this point. The name of the dungeon is called No Turning Back. So you walk in here, the door shuts behind you. You can't access the door because it's locked. And now, if I was to give up, then this would be my new current spawn point inside of this part of the dungeon, right? So, yeah, pretty cool way of doing things. Also, that light turned off so you can see, you know, that we deactivated that one out there. So, yeah, the way that this one works, it's very simple. This transmitter is telling this to deactivate. And this player volume is linked to this receiver. So that you link the player volume to the receiver talks to you link the player volume to the transmitter talks to the receiver and gives the receiver a command to deactivate this spawn point. And then this player volume is also linked to this spawn point, making it active. As you can see, if we press G on this, it is making it active. And this player volume is also, if you click on this arrow, closing and locking the door. So once you reach a certain part in the dungeon, okay, the door closes behind you. You can even get a little bit more creative, and you can, throw in a effect like this. And well, hold on, not an effect. Let's do a sound. Okay, sound effect, and then we'll go like, big door closes or something like that. I think is on here somewhere. Glass break. Okay, hatch. Let's say hatch open. That doesn't freaking. There we go. Unlock big. Maybe that's what we do. Yeah. So essentially, you put this volume right where you want to hear it at, obviously. And it's got the volume turned all the way up. And then you link this player volume to this guy here. Or you could link it to the door or whatever. But essentially, you walk in here. Then you've got that sound that the door is closing behind you. So, yeah. Hope you guys learned something here with respawning. Like I said, I'm going to make a ton of these videos trying to help you guys break down all this stuff. And we're just calling it the playground class. You know what I'm saying? So I've learned a absolute ton with this. I've had 100 hours at least dedicated to learning all of this stuff. So I'm hoping I can spread the knowledge onto you guys. And yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and consider subscribing. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.